Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on Earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all beings in the universe. By teaching plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. By donating to us, you can help achieve this goal. keshefoundation.org/donate.
Plasma products found at keshefoundation.org/store. Soothing, reusable plasma eye and migraine mask. Eliminate eye fatigue and relieve stress in eye area. European certified medical device. Massaging plasma insoles. Bring comfort back to your feet and energize your legs. European CE certified medical device. Antiseptic plasma liquid hand soap. Promotes well-being and relaxation with protective plasma formula. CE certified. One Soul Plasma T-shirt. GAN's formula within the symbols and stripes brings mind, soul, and body into balance. European certified. Pain Relief Pen. Emits a concentrated plasma field at point of pain, efficient up to 3 centimeters below the skin. CE certified. The Magrav's Energizer and Alkalizer raises pH and energizes water through magnetic and gravitational fields. CE certified medical device. Pain Relief Pad, a result of years of research in nanoplasma technology with magnetic and gravitational fields. CE certified medical device. Visit the online store at keshefoundation.org/store. or find a distributor near you. Tax and shipping not included.
Welcome everyone to the 229th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, June 21st, 2018. My name is Rick Crammond. I'll be your host today as we once again listen to Mr. Mayran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, and he will elucidate for us the current situation with the Keshe Foundation, as well as events around the world interpreted in the plasmatic way, as Mr. Keshe has in the last 228 Knowledge Seekers workshops every week at the same time. So without further ado, let's get into today's workshop, which starts on the first day of summer of 2018. Mr. Keshe, are you ready to begin? sure if we have.
Yes, your mic isn't open. You're muted?
Yes. Hello.
Ah,
Yes. Good
there we
morning.
go.
Day to you. Thank you very much, Rick. As usual, wherever and whenever you listen to these series of knowledge seekers teachings and what we call sharing knowledge, and we educate and elevate each other's understanding of the science of the universe. It is interesting in what we see and what we can do and what we can achieve. And in so many ways, um, I was listening to part of the uh, teachings last Tuesday and part of the private teaching in the past couple of days. And we see achievement. A lot of things are changing, and then is it by our wish? Is it by our thoughts? Is it by our understanding that we can influence conditions and situations? And it's very, very interesting to understand more and more how things are happening and how things has happened. Um, Not long ago, when we spoke about gravity, it was the biggest mystery in the science of the man. Now, all of you, in a way, know more about gravity, how it's created, make machines and systems that replicates it and does things, and become a knowledge in such a rapid way that um, it's so simple. The reality of it is that the knowledge of universe is so simple. Understanding of the work of the universe is one of the simplest things a man can do. But because he has understood everything in the level of matter state, he has created himself a lot of confusion because he's taken only one state of the transformation and transmutation of the fields of the universe. And to him, that's everything. In so many ways, now we learn that through our emotion, through our feeling, through our understanding, we can change things, we can influence things. The way we feel our emotion and we cry, the way we feel our emotions and we love, the way we decide who to love and the way we love, sometimes we decide how our emotion creates anger and how we react to it. And when we feel peaceful, we find peace within ourselves and in our life. Now we have to learn something extra. If you remember some times ago, we spoke about the school of fish, how do the, what I call soul of a school of fish in the ocean decides if one feels something on one side, the whole millions of fishes all turn. Or if you see the birds flying, one turns and the whole thousands of them turn together. In the teachings that time, we could explain that was a common soul. But now man has to learn the next step, and that is the way you felt love, the way you feel when you love somebody, you want to give them a cuddle, you want to kiss them, the way you feel you want to hug, the way you understood your emotion creates physical reactions, the way when you get angry, anger, anguish creates different physical dimension. Now we have to understand one thing, for the first time maybe, that we have become part of the emotion of the human race. The way you felt loving and you created the emotion of love and it happened. Now, collectively, the man has created that emotion of the school of the fish, that they all react together and one reflects this feeling amongst the whole millions of the fishes in the school of fish in the ocean. Now the human race has become that school of fish, 7 billion of them in the ocean of the atmosphere of this planet. And us as Keshe Foundation, as members of the world which likes peace and unity, have become that single fish in the corner, which when they felt love, everybody came. When he found food, everybody comes. Now we wish peace, and everything has started. This is what we have to understand. This is how we have to realize the power of us. We become the senses, the emotions of human race. And now many of us are wishing and feeling and acting and evolving towards that peace. Now maybe you understand why is not your wish anymore, is your emotion, which creates that motion in the world to create peace. Is that wish to understand more about the knowledge of the universe that is triggering the release of the knowledge to mankind. Now, we are not only that fish which senses the food and everyone, millions of fishes go towards, but we are that fish which is the emotion of the human race. One of us wished peace, and it was sincere enough to get millions of us moving in that direction. Many people worked towards it, but they did not know where to go. They took banners, they shouted, there were marches. How many marches of peace have we seen in 1970s, 80s, 90s? And even now, people have given up. But human race has found the correct way to wish for the peace and achieve it. And that's the way now we understand our emotion is part of the reaction of the humanity. And it's not coincidental. Was it coincidental that you felt like loving and you kissed or you cuddled your child to show your love to it? Or was it just happen accidentally? Now we have to understand we are that emotion. Our soul, our destiny, our what you call wish, our essence of creation has moved the whole thing in the direction of peace, because now we know we deal with the soul of the man, and through that we stitch and touch the soul of the humanity. And for that process, in past few months and years, we've seen towards that direction. It is nice to see that our wishes, in a way, you cannot say, I love you, my child, and just stand there and look, and in a way for him or her to feel you. You embrace it, you kiss it, you hold it. That shows the emotion which was set in the brain has shown itself in physicality. Our wishes for peace now is taking shape. As we saw last week, the meeting, or what they call the summit, between the American president and North Korean leader. And now we see the same North Korean leader, yesterday and today, embracing peace in China with His Excellency President Xi. Then you see the two reactions totally different. When you look at the pictures of last week, it was all set up, a defeated man trying to buy face. When you look at the pictures of yesterday and today, when you see the President Xi and the North Korean leader is sincere to the bone, you feel it and you say, yes, we achieved it. But at the same time, you don't know what might happen. Maybe the child kicks and maybe the child reacts because it's too much love and too much attention. But that's the job of us, to keep that loving, that wish of peace. When you see world leaders moving to make these kind of public move, everything is calculated. And this time calculation is peace, because we all wish that Chinese members of the Keshe Foundation, the Iranians, the Americans, the British, the Africans, the South Americans, we all wished it. And that wish has become collectively the wish of our leaders. As I said, the Syrian war was the last war we ever see on this planet. And that's my wish. In a way, if we look, civilization started from Syria, and the war of civilization will end up in Syria. We shall not see any wars, and that shows the time of maturity of mankind. This comes with the knowledge that for the first time we understood the soul of the man is within the structure of the man, and we know where to go, that make the right move, that creates the right motion in the rest of the number of the human race fishes in the school of the fish of this planet. Now this pattern starts. This school of thoughts, that now that we understand peace is part of our soul, peace is part of our emotion, anyone else which might come up with anything that might indicate war to us becomes meaningless, and you'll find out just disappears. We've seen the funniest one appearing in the past few days. Now we take forces to the sixth fourth in the space, and we said in the space there is no army. So I wonder how much more we have to educate, how much more we have to show the power of the technology, that gradually, not only through the science and technology and the soul of the man, but through change of the understanding of the soul of the man, those who are still arrogant enough to claim to be everything else has and will create new condition for all of us. They stand out like a sore thumb, as we say, the black sheep in the herd of the white. We see gradually damages which are created by man over centuries will heal up. In the coming time and centuries, we'll talk about the bad days when the man was wild and was killing. We need a lot to do yet. We need a lot to learn yet. We need to understand that the teaching we done and bringing a man to understand the soul of the man what's within him and is him, but he speaks through his soul, and in a way we call it sincerity, then that becomes a language understood by other souls and they move and they act. We have a lot to learn yet, because then you have to go a step further. The soul of the mankind, as now we understood, we could affect it through our souls to change his emotion to his physical reaction. The soul of mankind as totality is another fish in the soul of the universe. So when the mankind indicates that is ready for peace and is found peace within itself, the rest of the school of the universe will come to it. Very much like when the first fish found food or danger, the rest followed and responded to. Now that we elevate ourselves to the next level of understanding, now we understand that we become peaceful souls, gradually we change, then the soul of the universe will respond. The school of universal community will respond, will follow, will shower us with love and care, that we elevate and educate ourselves very fast in the knowledge of the universe. We have to understand that now, as I said many times, science and what you call religion or theology come together because they are one. In essence, you cannot conduct anything wrong in the world of science, because the conclusion of it is the reaction of the man itself and what man will do to himself. We got to see how it comes. How do we interact? If you remember a couple of weeks ago, we started speaking about light, the interaction of the light, which is the faster speed of communication or interaction between two sources of energy. Now, if we understand this, and we understand the operation of the light within the soul of the man and its transmutation and transportation to another soul, leaves a trace of light. We can follow it. We can see it. When we become wise to the work of the universe, then we can see how one light shines on everyone else who is of the same strength that can absorb it and be in the path of its motion. So, in essence, our wishes, when we moved from one of us to the others, if we find the facilities and the systems that we could see the motion of the light that's given the earth, length and the strength, then we see the motion of emotion, feeling, what is right, what is wrong. We see which light is going from where to where, which light is going from which soul to another soul. What soul has given and what comes back is very much like a 0 and 1 computer coding. The strength of the light from one soul to another is a language communication between the souls, and we can observe it, who's talking to who is transferring knowledge and information. Are you talking to the soul of the mother, the soul of the father? Because at the end of it, everything, even communication between the souls, has a strength, has a strength that one in receiving it gives. And then if you are wise enough or you have this understanding of it, you can read the communication between the souls. So in a way, when we speak about the light, is the light of the existence, is the light of the knowledge, is the light of information, is the light of communication. And it depends on how clear you are in respect to that position. When we see thunder on one side of this planet, on the other side we can't see it. But if it was transparent enough, we will see. We can see, we can observe, we can feel. And what the teachings will come into as we go further is that where does the man go now that the man has understood he has the power to dictate, he has the power to influence, he has the power, he has the access to the emotion of the humanity. What do we touch? What do we feel? What is our wishes? And how much we lie to our wishes. But once we become transparent, when we become detached from physicality, we'll see those who talk one way and do something else, and they think, I said it didn't happen. I do whatever because nobody knows. But when you sit in front of a wise man who can see the motion and transportation of information from one another, or what you call the light of the soul, you know who's lying to you. I sat in one of these last Saturday, and it really was amazing seeing how people lie through the ways and the means they do things, and then they think you cannot see. Physicality has no dimension. But when you sit and a man says to you this and that, or a woman says to you this and that, you see it's very transparent. Why don't they tell you what is actually soul is telling you? When a woman says, I love you, and then it says, I love myself, you know what the feeling is. You know how the emotion is hidden behind words, but you see the truth. What do? You keep wisdom of silence. When a man sits in front of you and says, I want to kill those who damage me or my nation, and then he says, I want to be peaceful, you see the lies through the teeth, you see the lies through the soul. Because at the end of it, these people end up forever making systems that it gives them something to live. They don't work through their soul, they work through their pockets. Da Vinci was one of those. Da Vinci forever went from one camp in Italy to another to sell more modern thinking weapons to kill more, that he could have more finances. That's why Da Vinci literally got nowhere in his life. He just did a lot of work. But the amount of work Da Vinci released, if he would have had a soul of peace on it, it would have changed the human race in that time, 700 years ago. And now we see people who create tools of war and killing, and they hide themselves that they need the money for it, that I don't need, and they're hiding themselves behind all sorts of excuses. But they don't see, when you sit in front of the wise man like me, I see the soul and I know the intention, and I see the lies, and I have to pretend, yes, you're right. Yes, you're right to lie to yourself. And they don't understand, soon they have to pay for it through their lives. This is what is strange. In the past week, we came to acknowledge, to understand what the woman lied about. She received it, and she cannot handle it. But she's still trying to lie to herself. In what she lied was something because of what she wanted. We see the transparency. We see And we have to start understanding this. The reason for this is very simple. The Keshe Foundation team, the Keshe Foundation scientists and knowledge seekers are on the verge of space travel. They are teetering around it, and soon we will see systems. As we know, the electronic systems of today are absolutely feeble. They cannot catch up. They cannot work within the system of the light. So we have to be able, through the soul and emotion of the thoughts of the man, to make communication line with the soul of the spaceship, this control system of it, that it carries on with the wishes of us, that it allows us to be in direction of the satisfaction of our emotion, that it can take us across the spans of the universe. Then, when you stand outside, you see the light of the communication between the soul of the man you call the captain and the soul of the ship. It's very much like them holding two walkie-talkies and talking to each other with a cable from one to another. But we call this the light of the soul of the man, that it communicates with the light of the soul of any entity. In a coming time, in a very short time, shorter than you can ever imagine, we will see what you call the spaceships on this planet, made by man, for the man, and we'll see men who are the only ones who can get in and get out. Then we decide, we will see that which man is true to itself. Then we understand and we see when the light is rejected, when the light is not accepted, when the light of the soul of the man tells a different story than the sound from the mouth of the man. I love you, but I'm unfaithful to you. I love you, but I love myself. But a man has to be true to himself, because a wise man like us sees through like a glass, like a mirror. Nothing is hidden. Loving, giving, emotion of the man is within the structure of the man and touches the soul of the humanity. Goes back to book number 2, the structure of the light. Light not only has a structure, but has the information. Its strength and speed and wrinkles on it shows what information it carries. We need to be able to understand that whatever man has done in the past will unravel very soon. And then we have to stand it and see if we have respect for it. In the past few days, we have heard that the American president has said, man, America will go back again to the moon. And I made a comment. Have you ever been to the moon that you're going back to it? And they say, yes, they've been. So it leaves us two ways. Man is so advanced in the knowledge of physicality and sees the depth of the universe. I make a challenge for all the Keshe Foundation supporters. Americans can't do it, they don't have the financial means of it. But can anyone find a way or develop a system that, as we know, Americans are sending, they have a GPS every inches of the moon. They have named it, streeted it, and you can buy it from a company. It's American because they've been on the moon. But when you buy property, you have to look at it. It's there. So what I want to ask Keshe Foundation supporters, even NASA, because I know they're listening, I know the Chinese space program people are watching. We don't believe you. You know, when I give something, when I brought my technology, they also show us, we believe it. And then you have to prove it. Now we turn the table backward. We don't believe the Americans have ever been on the moon, unless they can show us from Earth those American flags which are left on the surface of the moon. It should be very easy with the present technologies. Then we believe them. They left one legs behind where the rocket was supposed to eject itself. We would like to see those. We're not calling it liars. We say, now we are more advanced, we don't believe in fairy tales. Or we challenge the Keshe Foundation supporters to speed up, to catch up, and land on the moon and find these flags. Until we don't find it, there is a big question mark if man has ever landed on the moon. There are a lot of discrepancies, but we don't talk. Discrepancies can be explained by different reasons, different places. But if, as we know, the heavy dust on the surface of the moon have not buried all the American flags and all the legs, we should be able to see them. So we turn the table not to discredit the Americans, which have discredited themselves if they don't show it, but make a challenge for the Keshe Foundation supporters to build the fastest possible system. There are two ways. We can look at the moon and find these flags, and then we play a golf game to see who can pot it. Or we land on the moon and show it that there is no American flag. They can say we left it there, but the people from the Mars took it. So the challenge comes now, the transparency of the soul and the physicality of the man in the light of the new knowledge. We have to be able to explain and be able to deliver every position. As I said, there are a number of teams of people who are working towards the space lift, space motion, and all sorts of things. And there are some those who claiming just because now they think they become famous for it, but we have to show it. What the challenges are, we see two groups, maybe four groups on top, plus the governmental organizations around the world who are trying and listening to all these teachings and actually made the systems. We know how, because one of these space agencies, they have asked for fuel from the Keshe Foundation. We have a system, but can we test your fuel? So it means major space organizations around the world are like you and me, sitting and listening and learning and copying your systems. We will reveal very soon which these governments are and how they're working around it. And the only problem is they have not listened to the teachings clear enough, otherwise I gave you every detail of the fuel. The fuel of the spaceships of tomorrow is the creator of the physicality of the spaceship, not aluminum foils and concrete blocks and spherical balls. If your body exists through the same dimension, man has to learn the totality and collective work of the body of the man, which is a copy of the working of a galaxy and the universes and universe. Then man can find peace. Then man can find new dimensions of knowledge. Then all you need to do is to replicate. I look and I see not many people have listened deep enough to understand that if you follow the work of the body of the man, which leads to the creation of physicality of the man, you should be able to make the physicality of the spaceship. There is no need for anything else to be done. How far, how deep we understand the knowledge will allow us to elevate in the dimension of the motion in the universe. The more we understand, the faster we go. The more we understand, the deeper we go. The more we understand, the more games we'll play with the structure of the materials we use and the magnetic fields that we use, plus the light which teaches us, indicate to us how to carry our wishes that become manifestation of itself in physicality, motion or dimension. Go back to the teaching of last week and listen to it in detail. I have given you the essence of the creation in the universe. I have given you all directions and indications in past 3 weeks how to take man across this universe in what you want to call man's milliseconds. It's you who have to mature in understanding. From the sun to the transmutation of energy to manifestation of physicality as earth. The sun does not have any physicality as such, except the conversion of its fields to its own matter level, which leads to creation of its own self. And then, in conversion of its energy, leads to creation and feeding of the energies and matter state to other planets. And then, is it the wish and the love of the sun which creates the motion and life on this planet? Or is it pure accident? If the work of the sun has a heartbeat, then the sun has emotion towards its children and different part of its existence, the way we do. And we know from observation the sun has a heart, so it has a soul. It has a dimension of existence. How can it be that the soul of the man can create physicality of the man and within it carries emotion, and not the creator of the man, which is the source of it, which is the sun? How feeble man has been. Do we need to look at everything in a dimension of physicality, or only when it suits us? Then, if the present science confirms the existence of the heartbeat of a planet, or a star, or the universe, which has a bigger heartbeat, then that entity has to have emotion. Because creation of repetition of the same, which leads to interaction and non-physical dimension of entity like the solar system, like the physicality body of the man, it has a soul. And with it, it has emotion. And then what happens when the man learns this and can tap into the emotion of the sun? What we see is laughter, or what we become the passengers on the wave of its fields to travel the span of this solar system in no time as it does itself. Then the extension goes again to the next step. Every galaxy has a heart. So does the universe. Sometimes when the man graduates to the ultimate level of understanding the work of the universe, will find a way to listen to the heartbeat of the universe, which means it's caring, it can love, it has emotion, the same as the man does. It has dimensional physical interaction, which is the heart of it, and with it, because of it, has a soul, which is a creation of its fields and its emotion in interaction. So now we come to one big question to ask, and that is there any difference between the soul of the man, the sun, the center of a galaxy, or the center, or the central line, or the soul of this universe? Then what is the line of communication. Then how do we find other planets that we can go to? Because when we left them 500 years ago, they were somewhere else with billions of kilometers an hour or a day traveling between one point to another. In space, how do we go to such a street, house number this, apartment number 2, where there are no roads, there are no streets, there are no buildings, and there are no apartments, but there is a position where we can find our loved ones? Or have we become too physical and we have to have a address to go to? Or can we become wise and understand that the knowledge of the man has reached the point to understand that the soul of the man is what you call this GPS. It knows where everything is and it has access to all the knowledge of the universe. It's for man now to start using the library of the soul of the man to understand the total knowledge of the universe. Then, what would you like? The gans of CO2, or magnesium, or whatever? Or is the gans just a mirage, just a facade for man to start to understand the new teachings? I most probably have lost half of you by now. If you are snoring, wake up, because the snoring of the soul of the man does not create the physicality of the man to be asleep. How much more do we need to explain? How much more do we need to teach? How do we create the transportation of the emotion from the soul of the man to the soul of the mother, or a friend, or another entity in space? How would you say, I love you, mom, when you're in space and because of the conditions of life, you have lost your lips? Because there is no need to feed, so there is no need for a hole to be called lips. To have lips, because our lips is the joining of the sausage tunnel inside the man with the skin of the man. And once we don't need to feed the man, this sausage hole will shut. How do you tell your child, I love you? How do you explain to your mother, I love you, to your father? How do you say such a beautiful day? Words don't exist. Sounds don't exist. So man has to learn the talk, the conversation through the soul of the man. Man has got to learn a new way to restructure his brain, that instead of creating noise through the voice box of man, it creates emission of fields through the brain of the man. It shows love, it shows care, it shows eager and anger. Then to be able to convert the lights of the soul, the way we convert it then to emotion and love, and we speak it, how can we create the same light but does not need motion of physicality, and the mother or the father feels it? So you don't need to go into the house and say it, give a color. You can be in touch all the time. There is a lot of wisdom in what is being taught. There is a need for wisdom of universe. We have to understand the communication between the light of the soul of the man and the light of the soul of his destination. And at the same time, we have to start to learn The way we have group of us sitting around the table and communicating and talking and joking and laughing or crying, we have to create a dimension of the communication of the soul of the man simultaneously with different entities. It's very much like having a soul talk with the mother, with the child, with the father, without the lips moving. And everybody says, yeah, let's go to the park. And everybody gets up and goes to the park. And nobody has spoken, but they all feel. These things needs teaching and these things needs understanding. It's not going to come by one stroke of a pen, and it's not going to come by one understanding of one point. It needs the maturity of the man to understand the creation and his own creator. Understanding justice and fairness, understanding love and care. I asked a question recently with one of the knowledge seekers, and I said, what is love? In understanding the new science of man, the new science of plasma, where do we find love? And why do we express ourselves in physicality of love, emotion of loving? In the understanding of the new world of plasma, where do we find love? We explain love is giving, and when you love someone, you give unconditionally, as does a plasma. So the position of the love in the dimension of the physicality of the man is on the outer boundary of the brain of the man. Because that's where the giving is. This is the boundary, this is where it goes, is the magnetical field which goes away. And the more you can give. So for the first time we understand why love to man has a physical meaning. Because it so touches the boundary of the brain of the man that it touches the total physicality of the man. And we got so much into it that when we create another soul, we use the whole body of the man to be able to create that interaction of the physicalities that leads to creation of the soul. So for the first time man understands the position of love comes from the extremity of the physicality of his brain. Because that's where it's giving, is the magnetical field strength which always is at utter boundary. And then it shows itself in the physicality of the man. That's why we need to cuddle. That's why we need physically to hold, to kiss and show our emotion. Be it our lover, be it our child, our father or our mother or anybody on the street. That's why now you understand for the first time why and how physicality of the man and his work of it is connected to his emotion at the dimension of his magnetical, on the edge of the boundary that he keeps out. Now, what is the magnetical has to have a gravitational. Where does that gravitational end? Which comes back through the magnetical. When you say I love you and you give a physical hug, your wife, your lover, your husband, your child, your grandfather hugs you back and gives you. Does it touch the magnetical part of your body which you're given, but you have to receive it, and so it has to go into the dimension of the soul of the man. Because that's the source, that's where it's going to. So, is the feeling of being loved shows the source, the station of the soul of the man? Because it has to be absorbed within, that it can give at the boundary as a love giving. So the question comes, what is the other end of loving when you receive the love back? And is that point when you feel you're loved, you have come to understand the position of the soul of yourself. because that's where the gravitational he has received and is absorbed in essence and has been held within itself. How much more can we teach? Or does it come to the point that the one who loves back, it gives you, but somewhere in the middle it stops, somewhere in the layers of the brain of the man it stops, and he says, oh, hates me, because this position in the brain coming in is called hate. This position coming in, if I feel it inside me, means love, because it's get me, blah, that I can love back more. As we said, the plasma takes in and then it gives more back. We see in the structure of the physical dimension of the polarity of the spheres or the planet. So now we have to understand further what is the position of the soul of the man through understanding the emotion of love, which is the giving, which comes from outer boundaries. If you're in the middle, you cannot give because you got barriers. So the loving, the giving is comes on the other edge, sensors of the body of the man, or interaction of the physicality of the field of the soul of the man at the boundary of the interface with this environment. So now we come to one question. Are you true in loving? Or can I feel it somewhere stopping in the middle? Oh, oh, oh. Because in the space, you have to deal with this. In space, the energy you receive, according to the strength that he has and where it goes, a flash of light will indicate if the guy says, you're beautiful, you can read in his brain, he wants to eat me on food, that's one beautiful. Then I move. But unfortunately, you have no lips, you have no tongue, you have no mouth, you lost it millions of years ago when you left the planet, and so is the guy opposite to you. Does have no mouth, but to you, you're absolutely delicious because it can create gravitational magnetic field in opposite strength than you, that it can drain everything from you. Then, while you're getting absorbed in the soul of another entity, you shout, I love you, and you disappear. Or you create a condition that the loving is so much that I'm not appetizing, I'm not there to be eaten, I'm not there to be touched, and if you want me, you can have everything I have, but ask politely. Because I'm here to elevate you by confirmation of my own existence. So, we start seeing the connections between all the teachings and what is to come, and understanding the operation of the light. How that light looks, what the speed carries, what the strength it has. To what extent the light confirms the existence and the source of the soul. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. There is a question from Krasmir in the chat, and he wants to get clear. So he says that, so love is gravitational and is on the boundaries. Imagine the outer core.
Oh,
Oops.
bing, 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 bing.
Problem right off the bat. Okay.
It says love is magnetical in
Well,
giving.
that's what I was thinking, but he goes on to say, and the magnetical of it goes to the core of the soul. And then he's saying, can we see?
You start the beginning,
Yeah.
can we rewind to the beginning?
I think maybe we need a diagram. Do you want to do a whiteboard of this? Perhaps that would be, I think that would be great. If he wants to envision
Which
this as
part of it would you like to
reactors.
see?
He
Which
wants to
side?
know about the inner and outer core of a reactor and the potential difference between them as in the gravitational and magnetical, and incorporating this love idea that you brought in here.
Oh my
I don't
God.
know if that's
That's
all
something
too
that I
much
can
to
teach you a
ask
lot.
for.
Look, this is the physicality of the brain. You don't see it up to go a bit thicker. This is the physicality of the brain of the man. And if you think of it, this is more or less dimension of his magnetical. Because after that, it's not have a physicality, it's got what I call layers of it. But in essence, if you look at it the other way, is gravitational is here, because when it comes in, this is where it's targeting. And where these two fields interact, very much the way the structure of your brain is today. Oops, I made a mistake there. The way it's today, if you get this level here, this is true love. I can feel it, right? If you see it here, he wants to eat me. If it's here, the guy is lying, and the rest of it, keep your distance, blah, 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 blah. But there is something very interesting, which the man will come to understand. In the time to come, the physicality of the brain of the man shall not be there. So, what in fact you will be completion of the plasmatic fields. Because in so many ways, we still carry the physicality as we see it. But you remember, if the environment is in a balanced gravitational magnetic field of the bone of the skull of the man, plump is not there. The brain is free to move in the universe, because its containment suddenly has disappeared. In time, man will have a lot of fun and a lot of fright with these things. It's happened, you will see it. Bone is not exclusivity of the human race. Bone as a framework for other entities, part of the conformation of existence, is very common in the universe amongst many, many creatures. So now that you move in the gravitational magnetic fields of the universe, where its gravitational magnetic field matches your bone structure, you just become a bunch of pile of jelly on the floor, because it's not there, the bone is gone. But still you have a field and the emotion and the brain there. What am I going to do with this pile of meat? How am I going to move this thing? Man has a lot to learn and a lot of fun to have in opening the space. So what do you do? How do you get that physicality mode in the dimension of existence in that part of the universe?
Good morning, Mr. Keshe.
Yes, Dr. Azad.
If you want to make a diagram for the love of a parent for a child, and love of a man for a woman, or a woman for a man, how would you do that? Because when a woman and a man fall in love, they can fall in love madly, but 5 years later they get divorced, they can kill each other. So, but the love of a parent for a child, it never changes, it's unconditional. So
It changes, but we forgive because there's nowhere to go. But with the husband or the mother, he can go to his mother. This is what I was explaining to someone very recently. You know, Carl and I, we've been together for some nearly 30 years. And I was telling her a few days ago, I said, you know, there's a problem with me. I said, you know, when I look at you, I still have the same feeling. When I met you, my heart just goes bump. After 20, 30 years, you should have stopped. What's the craziness with you done with me? I still fall in love with my child. I still fall in love with the dog and the bird and another woman, another man, or whatever, in the different dimensions and the strength. But my love for my lover, for my wife, It hasn't changed in 20 odd years, and it's very strange. And people say after 5 years love dies. We go through emotions, we go through changes, we go through different understanding. But it's us that by confirmation of loving, we can keep that going. One of the biggest problem in man is that he forgets to say, to confirm the existence, to keep that line clear, that I love you. Because when you love, and love is in true essence, never dies, because you keep that light on. You you are there to show the path. And it's very strange, and it it's it hits me hard many times, because nowadays, because of our work and the way we are promoting and working on the foundation, I'm even 2 days away, I come home and I see her, it just goes plop. I can't help it. How it happened, I said to her many, many times, what love potion have you given me? But does it come with the sincerity and knowing, or is it just one way and we don't get it back? It's just us who put in. But the problem or the beauty with it is, it will hurt by another soul, will respond back to you with the love which you don't get from your lover. We love our children, we care about them, we do a lot of things with, but look how many children will turn back and they deny everything. Have you been there? I've been there. The minute the first girl say I love you, oh, why don't I feel this love with mom and dad? So they don't love me because I don't feel that feeling about them. And then she becomes God, or he becomes God, and we cannot change it. You know why we can't change our children's love? And they become our biggest enemy sometimes because of that love, because they don't feel the love which we have given them all our life continuously. To us it's a second nature, it's the water runs down the river, we can't stop it. But this Madonna walks through the door, he goes and he falls in love, and she says I love you. He says, why don't I feel the same way with my mom and dad? So they don't love me. And she becomes everything. But a wise parent explains to the child, this is the love of dimension which leads to creation. My love for you has led you to be created. And there's a big difference. You're part of that wave which continuously is there, I cannot do. You're not another satellite who's come in. You're created out of me to be. Where the girlfriend is a satellite which just come in, it's just like a shooting star. At the moment it's bright. And then suddenly goes, nothing there. And then what do? They come back again. Oh, mama, help me. Oh, I thought it was a good love. But they forget. The next one comes, they go through the same program again. So the reason our love does not change for our children, because we have created it. With our lover is created for us. And there's a big difference. It's a give and take. Do you know, um, I was talking to Karen, I said to her, do you know a plant, a tree? It exists and is held by the ground. We see the roots and we say we water and the plant grows. But have you ever noticed when you shake the ground around the plant and you give it a bit of a room and something, it just tries to grow bigger? Why? Because man has never understood the way the earth gives nourishment to the plant gives nourishment back. It's not a one-way system. It's not all sucking it up. It's giving it back. We don't see that because we see the growth of the tree, but we don't see the love, the energy which the plant has taken, that is given, and by giving has created the position that it receives from the earth. and it gets clogged up because it cannot push anymore out. That's why it roots itself out to find new territories to be able to deposit. The plants don't go to toilet, but where do they get rid of the surplus energy? They are another living. Now that man understands, now you have to look into the root system of the plants. See what they chemically change around themselves. That's their toilet. That's what they put out. But man has never seen it, just sees the root growing. We never understood the principle of creation that is two-way. You always said, we water it and it grows, but when it grows, what comes out of it? What does it absorb from the environment that it has to give out, that it creates the space for it to come in? And what the speed? Why does it grow in the spring or the warmth or winter and the other one grows only in the snow? What has it changed? Because it has learned a new way to give out, that it allows new energy to come in. It uses the energy of its environment, that by giving it, it receives to come. But that environment and what is being clothing, it decides if it's a spring plant or a winter plant. This is what I explained very recently. You all look at the current in your homes, your electricity has got 2 wires. Why can't you work with 1 wire? It should be enough. If it's a current, it should be 1 wire enough to light the light. Why do we have two? Because we need to create condition of emptiness, that what when it gets filled up in the motion, we take something out of it, that we, in that position, we call it the light. In what we take out is called the refrigeration. I mean, the other one is for use for air conditioning or whatever. So in essence, if you don't have the return and take more, you cannot receive. We take out more by giving. We call it eddy current in electricity. We call it love in the terminology of the emotion of the fields of the man. And then what comes in, which is the return and filling it, when the light comes on, that's the soul of the man. That's where we can measure it. Or in one point is a 20 watt power, the other one is 40 watt power. When it's very near the soul, it's a 1000 watt power light. And then at 20, we say, oh, it's dark here, we can't see, this shows a bit of fear. And when it's 50, 60, oh, it's happy time, not too bad, be cautious, we call it carefulness. And when it's there, boom, 1000 watt, ooh, you hit the soul. So, we have to understand the essence of the creation. Without gravity, there is no magnetic. Without the eddy current, there is no current. Without love, there is no essence of receiving to feel that love. Then it becomes the essence of the creation. So when we talk about loving our children and it dies with the husband, don't look at the husband. You have not taken enough to open its position in his heart that to give more. I am part of the blockage. I am part of the stopping to recharge it. And then I blame him because I have not taken his burden. I have not given him the freedom. I have not given him the space, the pleasure, what he wants. And then I blame him because I cannot give. Because you haven't taken out what he doesn't need to satisfy his need. But on the other hand, have you understood? You fell in love with the physicality and the heartbeat, or did you fall in love with the soul? I fell in love with the soul of Kara, and it just happened. When I tell people how I fell in love with this woman, it's just crazy. Doesn't mean I don't fall in love with my children. Doesn't mean I don't fall in love with another woman or another man's writing or another car or somebody from planet Zeus. But in that essence of creation, the commitment of physicality, this is what it is. How come we see a father with two children, and I've seen this many times, watch it, observe it, and it is so hurtful to see, but parents are not aware of it because we never been educated about distribution of love to our children.
Yes, it is.
Watch a mother which has two children. The first child was loved beyond because it was the first. The second one comes out of being tiny to be loved. We force this first one to be there, you're there. Now becomes a spare part, a spare wheel in the game, because everything goes to protect the youngest one. What do we create? We create hate between the first and the second, because we haven't learned to love equal and show them. Not only I love you, not is there, we love together the new one. I see this many, many times. Then what you're gonna get? A depressed first child and a hyperactive second child, because she and he realizes, by me being active, the first one doesn't get anything, I get everything. And then you find the second child always dominates the house, because it's the only way to stop the first one. But if you teach the two from the beginning that the love for both of you is the same, not only in talking, but in showing them. You see the first child just hides behind the second, that what he gets, I get the crumbs. Loving and separation of the love, craving to be loved, has to be felt by the soul of the man, not the physicality. And a lot of parents don't understand this. They've never been taught. You know, it's like the king loses his seat because now there is a new one in, and all the attention. Because we're looking after the new one, we forget the second one. Very, very few parents understand this. And very, very few fathers understand this, and very much more mothers understand this. You watch the parents who have a daughter. The father falls in love because the little girl can't do anything. Psychologically, she is innocent, even she's still 80. So he has to protect. The boy becomes a footballer, he'll be out. So what happens? The father finds a new lover to give so much love to. And the one which used to be loved so much now becomes the second child behind. Is the mother picking up the crumbs. So by giving so much, we stop at the barrier, not the second one. And what happens? The mother becomes jealous of the child, the daughter, and then they become their biggest each other's enemy. Everything she does, she's another mistress. But if we learn through the soul of the man, that we confirm to our wife, to our partner, I love you the same. This is the physicality of the love, which I so much I care for, the same I care for you. Confirmation of distribution of love, equalness, has been forgotten by man, and it's the creation of many, many, many lifetime sufferings. This is the strange thing about the man. He always looks through the physicality, not through the soul of the man. When you fall in love with a flower, you say it's beautiful, everything else about it. So do with something else, somebody else, a car, a vision, whatever. What are we going to do in the space when we fall in love? My God, it's craziness. Man, when he opens the spans of the universe and then sees the soul and the beauty of the soul, man falls after the whole of the universe. And then how are you going to choose which one is the husband, which one is the wife, which one is the child? Or do we understand the essence of the return of what we receive shows if it's mutual? To what extent? They cannot lie. You cannot cuddle a wife and kiss while she's having another man in his brain, because now you see it. Oh, oh, darling, stay there, stay with who you like to be. Don't talk to me this Some of us will become mature in understanding of the emotion of the soul, feel these things. We know these things, and man become more and more expert in it. And in a space we need it, because otherwise we come to the point that because we create the wrong field or we don't understand it, we become that magnet which absorbs, because we give indication to the other soul without us knowing, because his strength of motion to him is, I love you, you can have whatever you like from me, and he needs to convert the energy to something else. For something else, you become part of the drop of the love and entity in the ocean of his soul. Happens many, many times. So we got to understand which love comes from what, and how we distribute and accept that love within the structure of the plasma of the soul of the man, not in the plasma of the physicality of the brain of the man. It's very simple. If you have that brain and you sit here, if I can clear this out, if you had this brain and this was the emotion of physicality, so look what happens. This is your the structure of your brain, physical brain. So this is the structure of your plasma of your brain. You felt pain here. Haha, you feel pain here. Anything in that dimension of a sphere is pain. Anything in that dimension, boundary of the physicality, is physical love. Now we have to distinguish between the physical strength and what stops in the structure of physicality of the man, and the plasma of the emotion of the soul of the man. It's the same thing, but now we have to find, this one is physical, this one is in dimension of the field of the universe, which has not found tangibility. But the problem is, nowadays it's become very fashionable. It says I love you, it says I love you too, and then the boyfriend is next door, I love you 3. The other one is behind, I love you 4. But these 2 are with the word of the soul, the other one is with the mouth. And then if you are wise enough, you see it right across. Oh my God, she thinks I'm a fool. It's very much, I love you. Oh, what am I gonna have for dinner tonight? When he's gonna finish talking to me, thinks I'm a fool. What they call rebound love is the biggest disaster for man in the space. You will understand very soon. Any other?
Yes,
Mr. Keshe, I'd like to take a question from Estella, simply because her last name is Love. So it really seems appropriate. And she does have a question in the Q&A as well as her hand up. And she was about to talk before I even said that. So I think we should see what she has to say.
Do we call her Mrs. Love?
that's my marriage name, a last name, Love.
Or Estella,
L-O-V-E.
B is her middle initial. So it's Estella B Love. B is her middle initial. So it's Estella B Love, actually.
Actually, it's ECBL, like ECB Love. I always make a joke. ECB Love. Because I'm Estela Claudia Bilbao Love. I have four
Where did you
names.
get that word from? Who gave you the love business?
My husband, I met my husband 25 or 26 years ago. I can't remember.
It should be I missing in here, be in love.
Estela Claudia Bilbao Love. That's my name.
Yeah.
ECBL.
Yeah.
Anyway, the question of love has been through through a long time, and I understood that there are different kind of loves, but the most important, when you said that we are always looking for the existence of light, and that reflection, our soul existence and physicality. So love was a big question mark since young. And one thing
So
I
you
understand.
married one.
Sorry?
So you married one.
Yeah. I have 2 children.
No, I said you married love because it was a big question for you. Went and bought it. Now
Well,
it's yours. Love.
actually at 27, I left Argentina. I was working already, but love was more important to me. And at that time, kind of coming along to the United States was a big decision, and I decided to leave everything I was doing because I found the person who I was fall in love.
So in a way, you were in love with Mr. Love.
Yes.
Okay. So it
So,
was a very lovely, lovely thing.
well, yeah, well, bumpy too, but anyway, that's part of the lesson. But what I want trying to express is this. And because we always looking for that confirmation of the existence, what we forget that love is give that acknowledge to the other person the existence, and you give to that person through love, feelings, energy, but unconditionally, because love is not possession, is not control, is you can guide, you can advise, but love is a way of saying respecting you exist, I love you, and you open a door of your universe, sharing yourself with the other person. That's what I understand is love, and that you can apply into a plant, to a pet, to a friend. And sometimes when the experience is so good, it's is maximum, is the best, because you don't need physicality to experience that connection to something, to someone. And it comes with a lot of respect. I think respect is one of the most important, because you cannot throw your energy. You can share gentle and give love, but not, is giving that confirmation of the existence through giving. And it takes bumps to really understand that. And the other thing I want to say is, it's interesting, the brain, we can think rationally, but when we connect to the heart, like you said, the physical heart, you feel, and your emotional body is, you're connected. And for example, it happened to me that a very good friend died, and he wasn't physically here, and I couldn't say bye, and I couldn't see him, and I really connect myself to his heart somehow, and I connect through my heart with emotions, and I felt like he got the connection, that I love him, and he was already free. And it was like a message. It came to me. So I think when we really tune in, in the feelings, you get that conversation. It comes like a message, but it's in a peaceful way. You cannot do it when you are agitated and thinking too much. You have to be very in peace and connected to your feelings and to yourself entirely. And I know everybody experienced that, but we forget about that. That's the way. And the same, we are accustomed to say I love you, but the truth is is in a deeper way. It's now through the voice saying, okay, or like the people go to church and they say, okay, now I'm clean, I can go and behave bad. No, it's the way how we live, it's the way how we think, it's the way how we move. We have to be a little more gentle with everything and
Let me tell
respectful to
you,
it.
thank you very much. Let me explain to you something why we emphasize on love and whatever we see it. In the universe, what we call love is what we feed out, what we give, what we are prepared to give. And those who have the same need as us to get to give from theirs, they accept and they keep, they create a link that they give that we can receive, that in turn they can take what we don't need. But is that love? Or is that the dimension that I want to be connected and that connection allows me to exist? As you said, we tell somebody we love them because we want them to confirm that we exist. Most of the time we tell to somebody I love you, is that the physicality dimension that I exist, that I can love? That's a gift from me, that through loving you I confirm my existence. Or is it that I give you, that you take what you need, that it can confirm you exist, that through your existence I exist? You see, if you understand the work of the universe, as I said many, many times, the science of universe is a theology. That's why many, many scientists who come to understand, especially physicists, especially those who work in the dimension of understanding the work of the universe, we don't become atheists, we become to understand the truth, and with it, we understand the totality. And with it, through that totality, we create a line of understanding, and according to the strength of how much we understand, we create a line to the Creator. We become part of the Creator because then we understand how He has created. And with it, we become the mirror of the soul of the Creator. In fact, so many times, so many people don't need to become. In the space, man will see many, 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 many creatures that in reality live the path of what you might call Christ or Moses, in the truth of their essence, not in the physicality of what they lived. And then you'll find out that's why the universe is so peaceful. Because according to the level of our understanding, we become closer to the Creator. And partially, 90% of my teaching, and especially in the physical dimension of the reactors, the cores, and everything else, is to open a path gradually for the man to walk away from physicality and understand the true way to the Creator. The time of showing you a fire and a bush and God knows a sword is over. We show the path to the Creator through the love, which means you give. If you give truly, you receive truly back from the Creator. And with it, in your action, you reflect His motion and His life. So, does the Creator give so much fields out for Him to receive from so many to confirm that He exists? In so many ways, yes, because without our confirmation of reversing back through our souls, He has no confirmation of existence.
But that's my
Yes.
question in the Q&A, I think I, that your connection to the Creator, to the central sun, is what feeds you. That love maintains you, you know, with the power to be able to exist. And that's how you, it's the backflow that you receive from the Creator is what powers the spaceship.
Something very strange. I live a very horrible life, but in so many ways, have to live with the dimension of the man. And so many things goes when you see what I see, well, at least I look at it in different ways. It's very painful living on this planet. It's very hurtful. So many times I've said, if I didn't take a mission to change the course of humanity, I wouldn't stay here for 1 second. I want to go home where there is peace. And so many things comes to you and you see it. And then you think, what about? A few days ago, I walked into the bathroom and over the night or whatever, uh, an ant which got wings, and as the wings, you know, the ants, the way they live, they, um, once they impregnate the female ant in air, they drop off and they die. And you look at it, it's such a tiny little thing. And when you have the knowledge I have, and you just look at it, I looked at it and I said, where has your soul gone to? Which dimension of the stars in the universe you have become, that you left the physicality here?
But it's a process.
It's not a process, it's comprehension.
Well, yeah,
Comprehending.
but some people maybe can comprehend in 2 seconds. Some people have to go through a process to get the click and you
Oh,
understand
humanity has gone
everything.
through this for millions of years, he hasn't understood. I cried when I received the letter from President Obama. I felt ashamed to be a human.
I I experienced the same, but it's
You see,
but
let me
at one
explain.
point you understand and you put the emotions on the side and then you can see the truth and you
But what truth
even
do we want to see?
the truth of our lack
What
of
suits you?
understanding and the blindness of they are trapped in a reality they cannot see outside the box.
Do you know, let me explain to you, do you know why I decided I put all my efforts to the Chinese government and especially President Xi to back the Chinese for peace and prosperity?
Because I think they have a long history of understanding the universe in a different way.
No, I received a letter from President Obama. It says, Dear Mehran, and ends up with your sincerely friend or something, Barack. And in the communication, the world's most powerful man, it tries to explain to me why he needs weapons of destruction and killing and calls himself the man of peace. And when I read this letter, this 2-page letter from President Obama, I felt this nation does not deserve to be the position it is. And it needs a nation who understands what peace is. Line by line, literally word by word, Obama uses nothing but justifying killing. Um, it's the most shameful letter I ever received, and in so many ways, I made two decisions. I had a choice to abandon everything or take position with the Chinese to make China the peaceful land through the knowledge and by path of history. I have found a match in President Xi of China, a man of peace very much. Maybe there is a reason we are both at the same time in the current time. And I see the course of change. Because a world leader who calls himself the most powerful man on this planet is actually the most vicious man on this planet. There is no love, nothing but hatred and position of power. And I made a very clear decision. I decided to bring man to a new level of understanding, to a new way that fighting it is no good because it has too much energy. But loving it was easier. And I've what do you call, showered with Chinese nation and its people with the love of knowledge. People don't understand the amount of effort we have put into China. And the world will follow. Because in essence, if we change the position, you will see a lot of changes coming up. Nations which will stop spending on what they call ornament to first to feed their nation. And we see that with President Xi. He's putting a lot of effort to, in essence, change the poverty in this nation. Not many world leaders do. We saw what happened in America with the hurricane, the truth came out. But we see, I decided to shower the nation with the love of the knowledge. And that's why I said China will be in a space in a very short time. But that knowledge will be used for peace, not for war. It's the trust I have, and it's very much as I said in the soul of the fish that it changed the whole batch, and now we understand the soul of the man. I walk through the soul of the President Xi in a very direct way. One day it'll be, I'll explain. In a way, he is a tool for peace through the knowledge and the love of the Creator. We have seen all the previous Chinese presidents, Russian presidents, always answered tick with tack. But the wisdom of this man, he doesn't fight back. He just takes it and finds a solution without war. It takes his time. It takes the wisdom, the counsel he has with him. He doesn't retaliate with another nuclear war, the same we saw with the Cold War. You have 200, we make 400 and we see. He puts a lot of love into his nation. It takes a harsh time for people to understand this. Chinese are always careful and thinking what's behind it, why this has happened, why is it doing this. But as somebody who sits outside the Chinese structure and I work with world leaders for such a long time, I see the love of the leader for his nation. We don't see with the Americans. The love of the American president sits only with how powerful he can talk rubbish. Doesn't matter which president.
But there is a problem. And all the way how we, because we are all leaders, we are all equal, and we are all.
Listen, how you tried to explain this to others, 6.999999 billion. We are equal.
I know, but when I want to finish my sentence, the problem is like when people don't know something, they keep behaving and living in the way how they used to do things, and it's all about control, and it's all about I'm stronger than you, and competition, and there is no co-creation and working together as teams in a cooperative way, and that's peaceful way. And that's how I see how we're gonna move forward, is team cooperation, and is exchanging the fields, giving the best for a cause, and there is abundance everywhere, but they taught us there is a scarcity and you have to fight or you have to compete in order to get things.
Let me
So
carry on.
it's a very deep way of programming, and if we understand from the magnets, from the field, how the field exchange, how you give, how you also receive, is the how the universe work. That's what needs to happen in Earth, and we have to be one nation.
You see, the the strangest thing is, how do we see ourselves in this structure? I'm one, I'm not counted, or I have a soul and I am counted. If you understand the example of the fish in the school of fish, then we understand my physicality is irrelevant. What I carry through the message of my soul to the rest, which creates that motion. We have to become that fish and understanding, because we all trust each other, because full trust in all being one soul, it saves us. We know which way to go, or if there is a food, which way to eat. Man has lost that trust, and part of the teaching which is becoming the cornerstone of the teaching of the foundation is to create that trust. Yesterday I was talking to our lawyers. As you know, we have a case in Belgium which is still running, and I explained how the Belgian government has walked himself into a big trap, and very soon we'll see top people in Belgium in prison because of the Keshe Foundation case. I don't go into detail, but you will see it very soon. A large number of the top people in Belgium will end up in prison, and some in Den Haag. We explained to you, as I said, we played openly. We're just getting to the last stages of it. As I said, we were waiting for the court case to complete. Now we're going to the final phase. And the reality was, and the reality is, that can we change the soul of this nation? Or do we leave them? In a way, for me, it's a very hard situation. As we've seen with Muhammad, bless his name, he took the love of God from Jews, and they became nomads because of what they did to Christ. We saw from, bless his name, Baha'u'llah, he gave the love of God back to the Jews, which was his biggest mistake, and we see what the Jews have done. In a way, when I look, it's a test for my soul and my physical dimension. What am I going to do with this nation, which is bent backwards to destroy me? But the problem is, I have a child from this nation. My children are connected to this life, to this country called Belgium. My wife is a Belgian. It's not something else. So this has given me a lot of sense of balance, to understand the level of love, even though he has created so much pain. There's a discussion now at a very high level that the Belgium will change into republic because of the situation with Keshe Foundation. You will understand when it comes through. Because I can go, and with the knowledge and the power I have, to punish this nation beyond understanding of the blood. But I carry the blood, so it has to bring, it's been my test to be correct in everywhere, because in trying to stop the love of the God or the creator or my knowledge or my way for that nation, I harm my own child, I harm my children, the children I love so much, and the woman I love so much. So that has given me a balance of understanding, not to revenge in a physical or a soul direction. But at the same time, it gives me a knowledge and an insight to be able to correct those who uh, have gone out of their way to be wrong. The situation with the Keshe Foundation, with the court case, is so powerful that it will change the monarchy in the nation of Belgium. You'll watch, you will see, you understand. The case is getting put together in a very powerful way, and the structure shows what it'll come to. It's not that we lost the case, we wanted the case the way we wanted it. But you have to understand, I'm a patient man. And I waited all this slaughter. We saw what, as we said, we stood with Alan Sterling and other people. Since 2005, it's 13 years. I stood everything with this nation. The cheats, the lies, the attempted murders, everything else. But in so many ways, do I stop loving the humanity, which one part of it is a sword, what I call nail, called Belgium? Or do I chop the leg off and say, that's it? This was done before, we cannot do that. I have many discussions with Caroline. She says, all the Belgians are not the same. What I say is the way you have been put together. But on the other hand, my love for her and our children, we were crazy about our children. And we've seen how this monarchy has hurted our children. So there is, and very soon, in the Belgian structure will come that the nation will separate itself from monarchy, and the monarchy has to stand their own way, and the people around them. And it comes because of our court case. You will understand very soon what we're talking about. Because the nation wants nothing to do with them, and them have to stand for what they've done. But do we punish them, or do we elevate their souls that they walk into it? And they're walking into it. You do not understand what is going on. I so many times pray for Dirk. So many times I give from my soul to the Lanois and the rest of it, because they have walked it. They are the tools for end of all the hardship of mankind. You will understand very soon. The whole structure is, we don't fight, we elevate, we give unconditionally, knowing that what is taken from our love for them, it becomes the resentment for those who wanted to take from us. And then they walk the way through it. Let me explain to you financially what it means. The creation and what they've done to Keshe Foundation, that we moved out of Belgium, they thought they're very clever, making us whatever, has brought us into work with all of you. If the position of situation would have carried on, they've embraced us with everything, you would have never heard about the Keshe Foundation the way you do today. Because they did, we spread out, we spread the knowledge. But what has happened? Economically, one of the most powerful technologies have moved into China. The nationals of the Belgium will ask the question, how come we lost such a biggest asset, which it's not like before you go and capture a country called Congo and rob it. Us scientists at my level, and many scientists like me, there are thousands of us, we are assets to nations. You call it patents, you call it scientific, right? Now, my knowledge, my work has become asset to one of the strongest nations, and I stand by it. And this, people will ask questions, how come we lost it? Because of a king who wanted to steal it? The resentment will come from inside to get rid of inside. And then mankind will find out we don't need kings, we don't need monarchy, we don't need people to call that are bigger than us. As you said, we are equal. You do not see the implication and application of what is about to come with this court. The biggest and the best thing with the kings did was to put the police force behind it. And the biggest mistake the police force did, spread the way they did. We don't explain anything till the final stage, you will understand. We are putting a damages in excess of 20 billion euro to the Belgian government, excess of 200 billion. You will understand how it's calculated very, very soon. Nation has to pay because they chose. The damages is not to me, the damages is to the foundation. So they're trying to uproot the foundation, but it cannot be done. What I'll tell you very soon, we release documents which we ask you to send to every lawyer, every judge, every city district, every court, every council across the world. Then you understand what it is, why we do it. You helped us, you did, not us. You went to the court. And you do not understand, the presence of those who went to the court brought the end of the monarchy. I'll explain to you when it comes. Those of you who did your affidavits, please get it signed. All the pictures you took, signed behind it, an affidavit, this is the true picture. We need that. And send it to us as fast as possible. The case is nearly complete. The best thing which ever happened was those who went to the court. I thank you for it. You brought the monarchy to an end. Send it to us. It's the end of all this killing and the murders and the rest of it. You will understand very, very soon. And I thank you for everything you're doing in the background to get it all done. Do it as fast as possible. We need it within the next few days. Notarize it, register it in the courts, and then we do our steps. You know where to, you're talking to. Just please pass the information. We live to receive some, we need the rest. Every single picture you took needs to be notarized, that you were present in the court. And others, the pictures of the police officers you took in the court, all those are important. Because then they say, how do we know who it is? We need your pictures, everything you did. Because it's the process. We gave it the love, and they took from us. But the thing is, they brought their own demise. We still need to understand that we are part of a structure. You have to feel what I felt. I walked down the stairs with my son, and he says, Papa, I can't walk. And I realized later on that John has put poison in his toy to kill him. And this is a man who pretends to be a father to children and grandchildren. You got to understand, it's very hard to be impartial, but this is a test for me. To keep my soul in track, that I don't do anything wrong, because if I do something wrong, it comes back to me. It's not the fear of coming back to me. It's a guideline for me, it's a test for my soul to be correct in my physical dimension. Loving is not just all giving. Loving is to know how to give in what extent that it does not become hate or it does not become resentment. But at the same time, not control that leads to it. I'm not pragmatist. I'm very, very logical. I'm a scientist, and everything has to make sense to me. And it has to make sense not only to my understanding of science, but to my soul. We need to understand the structure of the soul of the man to be able to understand the physicality of the man. We need to understand the transfer of the emotion, the fields of transfer of communication between two souls. Between the soul of a craft, a spaceship, and a man. This is what we are developing, what we are looking for even in spaceship development. How can we find people who understand the work of the soul of the spaceship? Very soon, those of you who develop and become part of the space program, you become expert in understanding if you go with this spaceship, with this soul of the captain, I'll be riding a very bumpy road. And if I go with this one and I give my soul to it as trust, I travel the speeds of the universe. You will understand very, very soon. These are the stages of understanding. Then you know who's a good driver and who's a bad driver, who's got a donkey and who's driving around with it, what do you call it, jumbo jet. But it's all the same soul. Um, a lot of um, Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers will change very soon, because a lot of you lost a lot of, you're ashamed to be because of what they put on. I'm associated with this or whatever. But when you change, you all shout, oh, I've been a Keshe Foundation supporter there. I know, but that was your test to understand the strength of your soul, your commitment to humanity, not to the foundation, to your own dimension in existence. Uh, very recently, we have appointed the head of Chinese spaceship program. A beautiful man. He'll be kept away from public, but he's accepted to be only in research. And I know my technology is in the safe hand. Not only because of it, but we see the soul of it. It's not that we put everything in China. We put everything in China because it's a tool for peace. I put a lot of effort into Europe for some 10 years, but it was nothing but robbing and stealing. I put in China. We still see some misconducts, but we see people who are there to see the change because it changes the humanity, the world. It's not that they're any different than the others, but the guidelines of existence is slightly different. Not that slightly things towards a positive, we can build on it. The head of the spaceship program of China for research will never release his name, because that's what I agreed and I kept to it. But it'll be shown how this technology will go very fast with him, because he has the soul and he has very much the way I work. It's irrelevant what's on the floor. The target to change humanity is more important. We see the love of the creation in it, but others see the spaceship that it might bring different dimensions. The the teaching is not always how the light moves and how the reactor is. Sometime like today, we have to understand the essence of the teaching. And in it, through it, we find the strength of our soul, which is the next step of teaching. Is, I always said when I write the 9th book, which is the soul, that will be the completion of my teaching. But we have to understand, the soul radiates, and at a certain point when it reaches the surface, like the gravity and magnetic field becomes the surface of this planet. In the dimension of the life of the man, we call it love. And then we feel it through the physicality of the body of the man. We hug to give it, we kiss to give it, we embrace each other to give it. And we know when we hold somebody, we say, I love you, and it's a cold, dead body in your hand. You know you're not getting anything. You just drop it, or you just hold it. Says, I give a little bit more just to confirm I can give. Any other question?
We have Lawrence with his hand up here. Allow you to talk there, Lawrence. If you want to go ahead.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Keshe.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depends whereabouts in the world you are.
I wanted to add to the knowledge, and when I thought about the many ways, the million ways, and one of those is the Kochen that you've been talking about so much, our amino acids. We are creating the CO2 in the usual reactors as we work with, and the CO2 is when we give it a little gradient of in the strength of the plasmatic hydrogen, then just like you explained that from the nitrogen we get the carbon and the oxygen, we can rub a little bit of hydrogen off the CO2 and we almost get the same structure as the Kochen, the star formation. That's our amino acids. And if you take a look at these elements, the carbon, the nitrogen, and the oxygen, their atomic mass differences are just like the plates of the H3, H2, and the H1. And when we look at their configuration with the top, the hydrogen at the top, the differences between the base reactors and the top reactors are also at the strengths or similar to the strengths of the bases. So we have a matter-based base that's feeding the difference of for the creation of the plasma of the neutron, and then we have a plasmatic difference from the top to the bottoms that also create a similar strength difference with each other, but on the plasmatic level. And if we look at the cells of any human or any living being that's formed from these amino acids, it's a continuously neutron plasma generating circuit. And since this neutron is the mother of the creation, it's the common denominator of the universe, whenever the universe breathes, increases its size, like when we breathe in the air and we increase the space of the volume of our body, we increase the space, we increase the magnetic principle, energies are brought in, and whenever we breathe out, we compress this amino acid system, and energy is released, which when it finds the sufficient environment, leads to the creation of new cells. That's the basis of reproduction. This is why we have the day and night cycle. During the night, when there's less pressure from the sun on the surface of the earth, everything expands, cells are regenerated, the plants grow, and what you've been hinting at regarding why some certain plants like to grow in the spring, some during other times, is the ratio of the magnetic and gravitational, the ratio of the night and day, which they like to expand. And it's the same ratio of magnetic and gravitational that we learn to adjust by means of our emotions, by the love that we are giving or expressing. And when you taught us about we should be able to feel at least two separate emotions, say a stingy emotion and then a hot or a cold at the same time. It's basically the two strings. It's the pulley game that we play with the magnetic and the gravitational, which we need to which we need to master to control the spaceship itself, or control our own spaceship if we want to go really deep. Did I mention all the topics relevant to the understanding? Was it too much again?
I don't know. Depends what people take from it.
So
each one of us takes from this and put catalogs or section to it as and according to what we understood from it. It says my internet is unstable. In so many ways, each one of us will do and react according to what we think we understood. Um, any other question, please?
Okay, perhaps just a second here. I've got a question.
Can I have a question?
Yes, I know where that question comes from, Ruti.
Oh, yes, because you are talking about the strength of emotion, and you said that the love is the boundary of the emotion. So it's like the plasma of, so is our emotion also as a plasma, and it also like the emotion also had the magnetic and gravitation. So it's like usually you join the spine rolling, and you see like from outside to inside, so in different point, and it shows the different strength of the emotion. Is that true?
What do you mean?
Such as if I can join, I want to show. I mean, such as the love. You said love is the boundary of the magnet, right?
Is the boundary of our physicality, of the plasma
Love,
of the man. This
it's the boundary of the plasma of the man's
of the soul
physical.
of the man in the boundary of his physicality. We don't feel love 10 meters away from us, huh? What
Mm-hmm.
we love, we usually hold. We love our children, we hold them. We show it, we convert it into physical dimension. But that extent of love can be extended to, if, let's say, another 1,000 meter and 100 meter to who we target to, will still be received, because then we add a dimension of being able to receive it.
Yes, but my question is the different emotion strengths, which is the highest one? So love
Love
or like hate
depends
or
on what you want. The highest emotion for what? For sharing, for loving, for anger, and according
mm,
to what you are in it.
I mean the highest strength to more close to the soul.
Ah, that's the mystery for the man.
Really? But a lot of the teaching said it's love. So is it love?
Yes, yeah. But love we explain as to be point of giving. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
always magnetical.
Yes.
So how can love be maximum in the soul at gravitational? Or
Mm.
is the opposite end to love in receiving too? Or is it that what we need we receive and we call that love in return? Is that the satisfaction of the need, where is there a satisfaction of giving? The two, one becomes of one the strength, and one becomes on the receiving end the strength.
Ah.
What would you call it? What do you want to call it? I call the love which comes purely, that reaches the inner sanctum of the soul of the man, the love of the Creator. Because every other love has strength, and somewhere in the brain of the man gets stuck. In the future, I'll explain what I call the eddy current, the return of the field. Then man will click on it in no time to understand how much he can change his existence. We are not there yet, and in time will be explained.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Keshe, good evening.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon.
You promised to, unless I missed it because I lost sometimes internet, and expanding on the information or knowledge about nature.
I did.
Oh, so I'm gonna have to go back because I didn't have the network.
No problem. And
Thank
I love
you.
you so much. Thank you, Mrs. Keshe. Any other question? You see, that's the problem. Caroline keeps on losing network and says something wrong with the sound. Everybody else hears. Any other question? You're nearly 2 hours and something into teaching.
We had a question from Scott, and perhaps you can answer it. It goes like this. In the last workshop, we learned about the possibility of creating the GANs of the neutron from our H3, H2, and H. In this teaching, the process was discussed creating H3 by the taught method of pulling out the C. Next is the H2. In the blueprint, John explained how they were doing it. Then is simply setting up a normal CH3 production process, but applying power of approximately 0.5 volts, and said the black stuff at the bottom that most throw away is our H2. Mr. Keshe has implied that there are other ways to do this using H3 GAN, but not clearly. My question is everyone, including John, still making H2 by the method John taught, or did I miss some info along the way?
There are many, many ways to produce gases. I promised our guys, and as I said, the head of space research of Keshe Foundation in China, he's a brilliant man. He understands a lot because he does things, but he thinks he doesn't understand. But it makes me really wonder sometimes. Let me explain to you something very interesting. If you can go back on something very, very easy but essential, and that is, I lost this thing sometime. You switch my thing over, my
the whiteboard?
You know, my whiteboard is very small. I usually get it big, and sometimes when somebody switch the screen, I lose it. Doesn't matter. Now I'm going to show you something it's okay. I'm going to redo it, and then let's see if I get a full screen back. No, why does it do that?
Maybe you can click up in the upper right corner. There's a little arrow icon that can expand the screen, maybe?
No, I lost it. No, I lost everything. I pressed that arrow. I lost my pen on the screen. I can't even get rid of. Can you take the screen? Stop sharing a screen for me.
I can share a whiteboard
Okay,
or
now back.
okay.
Okay, you're in
Okay.
whiteboard.
Okay.
Now,
Stanley.
what I want to teach you something for those of you who are talking about H2, H3, and H. Can someone go, if you can, very quickly find the video of the spaceship over Jerusalem on around Christmas about a few years ago, which published on the internet? Can somebody find it very quickly? Just put spaceship, UFO, Jerusalem, blah blah, Christmas. I think you'll find it very soon. I want to show you something. Those of you who created H2. Gee, where is my pen? I lost my pen now. Somehow I've lost all my drawing equipment. I don't know how to get it back. Ooh, yeah, I've got it back. Okay, no problem. But I want to teach you how you will find out, and you will see. This is part of the teaching. I was with one of our knowledge seekers, and it's strange why you people do things, don't understand, and just leave it. You have a CH3. You said you made a CH3. You made a CH2. Oh, sorry. You made a H3, then you made a H2, and you made a... I can't do a white one. I choose a green one. Okay. When you put these, it's very easy. The way I'll make a H2 and I make H1 or hydrogen is very, very simple. And I don't know what you don't understand. And can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
we do.
Yes,
Okay.
Mr. Keshe.
Okay. Now, if the way I do it, the way it's done in the universe, get a little more, and you feel you made the H3. Now you fill your pot. Somebody's microphone is open. Can you shut it, please? You fill in your pots with H3. And you let it run. H3 is a giver. But at the same time, it can give and create a gravitational field. What you're going to see very quickly, very in time if you get it right, one of them will turn slightly black. And you'll find out another one turns slightly a different color. I'll put the red in. If you understand the essence of creation of the fields in the universe, you have H3, H2, and H. The poles just change color because in gravitational magnetic field essence, it works this way. And in so many ways, it gets you confirmation, yes, my first material was a H3. Have you managed to find that video over Jerusalem? Anyone?
We did find a version, but we wouldn't be able to play it without getting permission from the person that took the video. It's a YouTube video, so we can't.
Okay, doesn't matter. I teach you how it goes. Leave it. Doesn't matter. This is the spaceship we see over Jerusalem. And on the central band, you see something strange. And then you see this. And very strange enough, these lights start revolving. Do you know why? You got the answer here. It's not that they are flashing lights. It's due to the rapid rotation of the plasma fields, which is here, and it has a reason. So they continuously change between the three colors. H3, H3, H2, hydrogen. They haven't made you a new light. It's a natural interaction with the environment. And in that process, they create a gravitational pull towards the center. Now you understand. When you look at, somebody tells you this is a UFO, you see this, now you understand the science behind it. Because you create your H2, H3, H1 this way. And the color which stands from the beginning is your H3. Now, how much current, electricity, or whatever you want to use. There are different ways. In the universe, this is how we do it. Man has found different things for himself. And the lights you see on the boundary gives you a lot of indication. It's very much later on I teach you. I make my H3 this way. And I've done that for years. And when it's ready, you pick one up. And if you leave it some time, they change color back again because they absorb energy from the environment. I tell you, when I tell you we have a genius in Keshe Foundation China, he is a genius man, but he doesn't understand the physics of it. And sometimes it needs explanation for him. When you try to replicate with the work of universe, understand everything about it before you can replicate it. You can't just make a man without the heart or part of the liver because they never understood it, or part of the kidney. Now, I told you many times, you put a picture of, you call it a UFO, whatever, in front of me, I tell you if it's real or not. Because I understand, and I come from that nature, I understand the full process of what everything means. Which one is fake? The strength of the color, each one, even tells you which part of the universe they come, because according to their knowledge, they use a slightly different process. This is what we have to understand, the knowledge of the universe. It's like, you know, when you see a car, it says, oh, this is a Mercedes made in Germany, or is a Mercedes made in America, or it's for this product or that one. When we look at the structure in the space, we know everything where it comes. We know the registration number, which year it was made, and who's driving it. This is part of understanding the totality. This is why I teach piece by piece. This is how we evolve around the teaching of the universal community. And everybody enjoys the system they made. the process of how you create hydrogen, the H3, it's very, very, you have the basis of what do you call it, CH3, which is a sense of creation of blood of the man. And if you separate it in a right way, you create other dimensions, which is it's new materials and new ways and new application. We have to be able to understand the totality of the physics and the interaction of the fields, not physics as a spanner and a Newton's law. Any other question? Somebody's microphone is open.
Yeah,
Hello,
that was yeah, we got it. That was Chow. I don't know if I think he didn't mean to open it. Anybody else have any questions? We have a attendee that had their hand up, and I'm not sure who that was. It went down before I got to it. Oh, back up again. It's Dan, I believe. Dan, did you have a question? Your hand went up and down there. I'll allow you to talk if you wish. Hello?
Okay, yes. Good morning, Mr. Keshe and everybody else. I want to put a question about one type of gas obtained without current and materials. It's first vessel. It's I have a video, but first speaking. I have
what are we talking about? Excuse me. Can you explain to us what we are talking about, please? First?
Yes, guns of, I say, rust. But I have copper, I have iron,
what?
I have...
The guns of what?
When you nail, when you iron,
yeah,
it's red, no?
You're talking about guns of blood.
No, he
no
said
blood.
GANs of rust, I believe.
Yes,
yes. Rust, right? Well, it's not GANs of rust. No, if you got rust, you got the wrong substance.
Okay, this is the question.
Mr. Keshe can explain.
I have a little video. I make this question.
What
I don't know
does
if...
it come? It becomes red.
Yes, it's one kind of red, but material with for obtain these guns, it's brass, copper, plastic, copper, iron, screw. Yes, zinc. Zinc is a vessel of iron galvanized.
Yeah.
And raining.
You created blood. What you're creating is hemoglobin. If it's in touch with the fat on the top, the amino acid on the top, and if you immerse it is actually just without the hemoglobin. It's like a plasma. If you stick that nail halfway in air and half in the liquid, where you have created that CO2.
I have video if you
Yeah,
like
what we
to
do?
see
No,
it.
no, we've seen this one. We
Okay,
know
okay,
this. Yeah, so
okay.
that's if you do it, if you there are videos, many videos. We even have some in the institute somewhere. I've seen them. You see somewhere if you stick the iron halfway up, which you have to do anyway, or you have a connection to it, somewhere in the middle, it starts dripping red and is a hemoglobin. Because
Okay,
it converts, pull that out. This has been there for nearly 10 years.
thank you for asking me. Yes, it's half in the air, half in the water. Inside,
Yes.
it's all kind submerged. Answer is
Yes.
blood. Okay. I don't
Okay.
have intention making in these guns. Just collect this type of guns. Uh, and I have another type of guns with electricity, with a charger phone. Mr. Shandor said, no, no, it's electrolysis, leave it alone. Okay.
The
Not
minute
exactly
you,
right, that.
yeah, you see, let me explain to you, there are electrolysis and there are gas production. There are two different things. With a gas production, we still can put current. We still do in the industrial scale, we do. But we set the structure is electrolysis if there is an acid in it. If you keep the salinity high, there is no acid condition, it stays gas. It's very simple.
Thank you again for asking me for another question. I'm sure it's a GANs, all type of kind of GANs. Depends of environment, salinity, quantity, and current and tension of all these tips.
I explained this before, and many people can tell you, if you carry on using the same water, you'll find out, you get to the point that you can drink the water because it's absolutely sweet. So those of you who work on a continuous production or whatever you think you just have, you're going to find out at certain point the process of having salt goes through a process that the salts just become a small part at the bottom of the what do you call it, the liquid. The top, you can drink it. It's just like water. No, it has no salt in it if you taste it. If you've been like me, adventurous to do all sorts of things, you see it. You can actually, if you take a system so far, you see crystals at the bottom. And what the top is, there is no salinity. So when you make, just 1 second, please. If you be adventurous, you can do a lot of things, test it. But the part of the process is understanding the process. What is in it, when, how, and the whole structure. I think the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers who've been here long enough, they most of them understand this process, and some of them don't understand, and they just walk in, and the point has come that you have to move on. Even the production of HGH2H1 is obsolete. If some of you moved further up in the knowledge, you'll understand that. But as I said, we teach everything. The setup which will be used for the Chinese space system, it's far beyond these things. And it's been in the teachings in past year, up 2 years especially. I've explained everything, but people don't hear. I don't teach coded, I teach to the understanding. And those who can understand, they can use it. In the process of the maturity of space technology, the the whole understanding is very, very different, because we have to be able to understand the whole spectrum of knowledge. The beauty to work with the Iranian physicists in the space level is amazing. They see everything as a package. They don't compartment this. They see it. It's a pleasure to work with the Iranian physicists. And when I came in touch with them, I see him, especially there's a guy called Dr. Jalali, they see the totality. You have to understand everything. You have to, this is one of the reasons, for example, it's different culture looks at different thing. Germans look for perfection, but they forget about the principle. But as long as it's perfect, doesn't matter, it's got no principle, or half of it is followed. The Chinese take it and they put their soul in it, it's got to be in balance. The American take it, they don't understand it, but they put so much in it that it shows something, then it can be correct because it shows something. Even if it's wrong, we find a way to prove it is right because we showed something. The Iranian scientists have a different approach to space technology. And it's the beauty of human race. When we mix all, then we see the totality of it. And as I said, I stand by the Chinese space development for a peace application. In the next few, very short time, you will see the flights out of China. I've assured and I guarantee that the Chinese spaceship will be done by public, not in the hand of the government. We done with governments, we shared it with Iran. I gave a guarantee, I keep my oath and my word to my nation. But now I have a nation which is a human race. We'll keep it open to all of you. But in a way that even when we show it, you lot will not understand how it works. Understanding the whole concept of the space is not just making a GANs and does this. I can produce anything you mention it in the Chinese system. Be it from diamond to blood to food to free energy, lift, motion, gold, plutonium, a speed thousands of times behind the speed of light, and the rest of it. Because everything is considered in this system. We designed it, worked on it, we planned it step by step. Everything is done. But to look at everything, step by step of teaching. Some are still learning cancers. This, is that blood? Does the light comes? Which one is H2? Everything has been taught, it's been shown. But as it is, we are human race and different strength of understanding. Any other question? Or shall we call it a day? It's nearly 3 hours.
Let me see, we have Lawrence has his hand up again, so perhaps we can address that before we go.
Yes, please.
And also we have something called the Summer Challenge, I believe, that we want to discuss before we go here, which is a promotion from the Keshe Foundation. So I think we want to have something about that, but I'll have to find out for sure. Or maybe you know, Mr. Keshe.
Yes, it has been authorized. I think we were asked, they want to, it's the management of the Keshe Foundation in respect to supporting of the manufacturing side. So, would you like to take over and show, please?
I can show the image and the information I have on it, sure.
But is somebody there who can explain to us?
Yeah, that would be best if it was someone else from the management team. Just trying to see, maybe Stanley or Ellen.
I think she has to explain it.
Is Ella available? That's the question, I guess.
This needs explanation, I think. From what apps?
I have the explanation from her in the management meeting that I can read, but it'd be best if she
I
could
think it'd
actually.
be best if she can explain it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we see her anywhere?
There's Stanley is shown here, but I don't see Ella in particular. Hello? That was Lawrence. Well, Stanley's not opening the mic, so I guess she's not available right now. Should we wait till next week or show the promotion?
So, because something is show it, but I don't. I'll leave it to you to talk it through.
Joanne is with us.
Hello.
Pardon? Hello. Yes.
Good morning, Keshe. You need me?
Hello, Mr. Giovanni.
Good morning.
Do you want to explain this video promotion, summer promotion? I think it's to do with Italy.
Yes, Keshe, no problem at all. There is no problem.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, Keshe, sure.
How is Naomi?
It's better because today will come the doctor for make the checking for remove the pipe from the stomach, because she was able to eat all the food with the mouth, and it started to exit the sound from the mouth also, and so but this will be done later to speak, because the position of the pipe is under diaphragm, so she is not able to have the compression of the lungs for push the air outside. For this reason, it's not able to speak.
It out.
Yeah. When the pipe it's more less of it can be in 2 weeks. I wait the doctor that say to me when it's possible to done this things.
I heard
in less than 1 month.
I heard your input into Malta television channel has had 40,000 hits.
Ah, yes. Yes. I was surprised too, because it's an interview of Malta TV. They asked me some question, I answered, and now they ask something more information, and sure I will do it today.
It's amazing.
Yeah, really.
It'll become a television series, I presume.
A soap opera.
It looks like it. We have to watch your, what do you call it, presenting new what do you call it, TV presenter. In how to say
Yeah.
Fantastic. I heard about it. It's becoming a success with everything else. It's good as long as we can get other people being informed how to save the life of their children, the way you've done.
Yeah.
I admire the way you tackled it and the way you've done, and you brought her back.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations. It's fantastic.
No, thanks.
But it was good news.
Thank you.
But don't forget us when you become a very famous presenter, huh?
No, there is no problem for this one. What I know, I put on the net. They can check. They can see the workshop, and they can do what I did. So there is no problem at all. I can only say something more about the new thing that happens, but all it's done in a very good way, and is on your workshop, so there is no problem.
Okay, no problem. Thank you very much. Hopefully next time when we see you on, it'll be on the international television.
Well, as you like, Keshe.
No problem.
No problem.
So what are you going to tell us about this year's summer sale, or what they call it, challenge?
Keshe, this is believe me, it's really a very good product, and the feedback that we receive are amazing, because we studied the product, we tested, and the test was good, and now in the selling we receive a lot of congratulations for this, and this all here, because we are all together in the warehouse now, was really happy of this, because it was a lot of study behind this product, effort, connection with other scientists, and for find the best information and to apply in the best way possible all of this. And now we are happy of this success. I want to say something about the product. For example, the t-shirt, no? This one is not a normal t-shirt. When we start with the research and the project of t-shirt, we study very well all the plasma structure of the human body for applying the best way. After we have interface with the very ancient Tibetan monks from Tibet for ask the size of the chakra, how big is, and how the position, the exact position, how recognize the symbol, the frequency, and so on. And we apply all this knowledge, we put in the shirt. So even the symbol are of a specific size, because is the size that is good for the energetic point that the Tibetan monks call energy point, no? We call plasma energy. point of plasma energy. Because if you look, for example, the position of the lungs, of the heart, and so on, it's like a star formation. And in the center of the star formation, there is the plasma. That plasma created from these reactors, all the reactors of star formation, it's the chakra points, where the chakra, it's where the plasma is collected and manifests in that point. So for keeping balance all this energy system of the body, the chakra need to be exactly the measurement of the t-shirt, of that symbol.
So what happens if you're large or small or fat or thin?
No, for all human body, even if a person is fat or small, for be in balance, the measure it's the same. Only for the children that are short change the size. But a human body, doesn't matter how big it is or how much small it is, need that size of chakra, because if it's more, the chakra, it's called that it's broken, and he lose energy. So he feel tired, or he feel like that is not in peace with himself, and something like that. No, but if he's less of the size of the symbol that is in front of the t-shirt, this is meaning that it's not open enough, is without energy. So for keep the person that put the t-shirt in the condition that it's balanced and he feel well, really in balance with himself and with the environment, he need to stay with that size in that position. So the chakra don't move and stay exactly in that position, in that size. So it's balanced. Now, there is the reason why we put not behind the t-shirt. If you look, we put like two lines, no? We put that two lines because the chakra have some specific position, but we know that there is a connection between the magnetic field of the earth and that one of the sun, no, of the sky. And so this position that the interaction with the field, the human body, the typical monks of the yoga and so on, they call Kundalini, no? But we know that it's an interaction, that a flow energy that have the direction in the spinal cord. And so this flow of energy need to be, to have a direction. So we have the point of plasma of star formation that in the body became a multiple system of star formation. And we have the two lines that create a spiral where all this plasma is collected, and there is harmony between the connection of the earth and that one of the sky. And so all of this knowledge is put in this t-shirt and permitted to the people to stay in balance. And we show this because there is the demonstration that work this kind of t-shirt. So the people that that want to do meditation, even to work, because we did it, the monitoring of t-shirt even during the work, it's more peaceful. Because the problem when a person is in a big stress is the person come into the stress. But if the people, the person keep the balance, don't fall in stress, and so don't become stressed. And this is very important. And because create a detach between the person that's in harmony and all the environment that try to become stressed the person. And so this, I think that it's a very good thing for humanity, because keeping balance, it's very well. This is for talk of another very good product, believe me, Keshe. I know that I speak like a seller, but Keshe, believe me, it's we tested. I am so happy that work, because we make a research on this. It's the mask, because
do I get younger or older if I use it?
What, Keshe?
Do I get younger or older if I use the soap?
For the soap? No, for the soap, they can use all the people. There is no problem. Because
yeah, a woman asked me, does the soap make me more pretty? Can I find myself a husband? I said, I don't know. I asked.
maybe a little, yes. I explain you why. Because when wash the hand, you know, we know that the plasma field interact with immediately, you know, and the first feedback that you receive when we wash the hand is that you feel the soap very nice and peaceful. This because with the plasma field of the nerves interact with the plasma field of the soap and transmit this to the brain and to the body. And when the brain receive this kind of information of pleasure and peaceful, the body also start to change, because became more quiet, more relaxed. And we know that a person that it's relaxed and more quiet, and especially the wife, are better. The one, when
I
are
think
angry.
you better watch. She's listening now. You want to stay alive, you better watch.
Yes, I think that it is better, no? Because that one, it's a movement that every day we do it, no? 3 times, 4 times. So imagine all these things together can keep us all the time balanced, peaceful, and concentrate what really we want to do. Because now the human being, it's too much worry about the survival, about the sexuality, because we are completely receive a bomb of information about this, no? And so something like the love, like the projection in the future, what really we want to do, the expression of ourselves, it's forget or it's completely stopped. With this, we can be able to do it better. And so I think that really is improvement for humanity, this.
Thank you very much.
No,
so I've seen you got what is called, you had the banners there, one for 1,500, one for 2,000. Can you tell us what are these?
Yes, this is are some promotion that we organize here. This is a very good idea of Joseph, that in organization with
Can we have that, please? The page. Yeah, just wait.
Yeah. Yes. We have three kind of promotion: moonlight, sunshine, and starlight. And we give
they all
really
sound like alcoholic beverages, huh?
What?
They all sound like alcoholic beverage, you know, moonlighting and sunshining and
yes, it's summer, Keshe. It's the moment of fresh drink.
only Italians can think this way.
Yes. And And Joseph chose this. That's the case. I'm in research, and so we have prepared this kind of promotion because I think that it's the good way, the better way for let know and try to the people that is a very good product, and so we wanted to sell this very fast before that people start to copy us. If copy, that's not big mess because it's wonderful to share
I don't.
the knowledge.
Can you explain what is 1500?
1500.
I can help here if you want.
Yes.
Pardon? Ah, she's there.
That's the voice we were looking for. Thank you, Ella.
I was always here, but to explain about the product is Giovanni's, how to say, sector, because he's actually putting his soul and love in these products, and he knows the best how to explain the logic behind and the purpose of the products. So it was
Okay, can you
meant
tell
for
us
him.
what is 1,500, 2,000, and 5,000?
Yes, so we started this promotion today with the start of the summer, and we want to offer the people the possibility to try our products. So we made few packages. In these packages, the offer is like this. If one orders in the value of 1,500 euros, they will, any kind of product. So any kind of products in this value, they will receive additionally, free of charge, the products that are shown below. The one piece of plasma ion mask, one CO2 kit, one gas bulb, and a bottle of hand soap. So the total value of the products which they receive for free equivalates with a certain percentage of the order value. For the Moonlight pack,
let me clear it because I misunderstood. So if they place an order for 1,500, they get these extra.
Yes.
If they place order for 2,000, they get these things extra. And if they place order for 5,000, they get those items extra.
Yes.
So in a way, it's like 36% off. Okay, now I understand. Because
Yes.
I thought, how can a bottle of a plasma ionic CO2 kit be 1,500?
No, it is written.
But
If
I
they order
understand some of us know from the back of the mountains, huh?
Yeah.
It takes time to grasp. So, if they place an order for different, these are the things you'll get, which amounts to that much discount in the order as a total.
Yeah,
Are
the
you
value.
trying to make the foundation bankrupt by any chance, the way I look at it?
What I'm trying is to make the products known to the worldwide community so that they can feel the benefits of them. Because I personally use Keshe Foundation products and I'm happy with them. And I would like that this joy is felt by everyone.
As the head of the Keshe Foundation, if you don't do, who does? No problem. There are other things.
One other thing I would like to point out. I know that for some people it's probably harder to gather the amount of this order. This is why we encourage communities, let's say the groups, the knowledge seekers, they can place the order together. So it can be a group of people that can order one product each. They place the order together and they receive these products for free that they can use or they can gift to people that cannot afford. So if the groups talk with each other, they place one order, they achieve this value, they receive that amount of products for free. Yeah, so this is from my side. If there are any questions, we are glad to answer. The customer service is available to also support with any questions that are.
I had a request totally relevant to this. Some people want the connection to the Maltese television link program. Is that possible? They could know where they can go to?
Yes, we can post the link to the chat.
Or you can put it on the website if people can go to it.
Yes, Keshe, when I received I have the link, not now in this moment, but I can give to you, and so we can put in any place in the website as you like.
Yeah, because some people are asking for it because they want to see where it is and to read it. Have they put an English translation to it?
Yes, Cash. There is the English translation, and with the new information will be done today.
But Giovanni, the English translation is done, but not published yet. Some media houses already promised to Emmanuel that they will publish the English translation as well. And when we get this English translation, then I think it will be easier for people to distribute around and more people to read.
Yes, but there is another version that I received yesterday that they ask more information in English, and today I will finish the last details and send to them. So will be a bigger interview with more details in English.
That's great.
So,
I just posted one link in chat so people can take it.
Can you put it on the screen? Because we see the chat, the rest can't see. Is there any way somebody can write it and put it on the screen?
The link is quite complex.
Rick, if you can click on it and share the web page where it is written, and then they can see the link in the header.
Yeah, just a minute here.
Thank you.
That's for that last link in the chat, right, that you're talking about?
Yes. In the meantime, I'll just put the link and you prepare. You just take over when you can.
Okay, there's the website in question. And what I did when I went to this website is you just right-click and go translate, and you can get it in the language of your choice. I just choose English, and it gives me the rough translation. Some is not perfect, but you can get a fairly good translation out of it that way.
Yes, if people know how to use the translate to English in their browsers, Chrome have this by default, and some other browsers need this to be enabled. Yeah.
Yes, I think I had to enable it with a plugin or something.
But like we said, the English version, correct one, will come out soon, we expect.
Okay, very good. Okay, is there anything else from the management end there about new products or other things that we should know about?
Only Sikesh, if it's possible, I want to explain the mask because it's very good, Sikesh. The mask is unbelievable. I tested, and it's amazing. We receive already the feedback from different person. I tested even also in my family, and it's amazing how I work with the headache. It's in very less 1 minute, few minutes, the headaches disappear. Even I try with some people that have several headache that was like a chronic, and even with that problem work. And so only I saw that work less on the people that the cause of the headache is not in in the head, but in the stomach. You know that when a person is sick in the stomach, that for example, it's something that's no good, no? Manifest this kind of problem with headache too, no? And in this case, reduce the headache, but it's less the powerful in front of the person that have headache, that the cause is from the head. But it's amazing our work. It's amazing. We know that is a product that will work for the headache, but the result that we received was really surprised us as well. Is a good result. So it's we are happy really of this, and the insolence too are good. And so, but I want only to explain this because it's very important because we received the good test of this, of the people that buy it already. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Keshe. Thanks to everybody.
Thank you indeed. Thank you very much indeed for everything. The beauty of the whole thing is the knowledge is shared, and the benefit of it comes right across the world to all of us. And how it'll bring us different joys and different application, and how we can change with simple things each other's emotion or each other's what I call understanding of the position. Sometimes very simple things. I've seen a lot of people developing and producing new materials, new methods of using the ganses, and how we can benefit from it in total understanding of it is another game. Thank you very much. We'll see what other new products coming in. New products from Keshe Foundation China will be introduced into the list of the products, and what these things will add to it. We'll support the Chinese products to be sold outside China in a large way very soon through the what you call the management of the Chinese Keshe Foundation setup. As many of you know, we have opened a what they call Keshe Foundation Shenzhen in large way headed by Nathan, and these products, what they're producing by different groups of the Keshe Foundation team around the world, will be going through Keshe Foundation China and the Keshe Foundation network. Thank you very much. Anything else, or shall we call it a day?
I think that's it. We may have missed a question somewhere, but I think we pretty much covered it, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much indeed. Thanks for today. And hopefully we see how far we can go and what we can achieve. Thank you very much indeed. And we'll hopefully see each other next week. And we'll benefit from it, all of us, in what we can expand and what we can produce. Thank you indeed.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe, for the lovely discussion today, as you might say. And thank you, everybody.
One thing would be, sorry about that, one thing which I asked would have been very nice to see the picture of the, what do you call it?
President Xi?
President Xi of China and President of
Yeah,
United States.
I wasn't able to find a non-copyright, wasn't able to find a non-copyright picture. They're not available yet on Wikipedia. And it seems to be the press has maybe suppressed that a bit or made it so it's not easily available. You can get the previous pictures of the last two meetings that pair had, but their third and latest meeting just occurred, 2 days ago, is not available yet for some reason. So perhaps we can have that for you for next week, first thing. Unless someone found it. Just let me just double check on that and see if somebody is, I don't see anybody that's part of our crew that's found that yet. So we were looking for that earlier. Okay, then I guess that's it for now. And we'll go out with our videos from Flint. And thank you, everybody, for attending. This has been the 229th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, June 21st, 2018. Okay, take it away, Flint. Thank you.
Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on Earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all beings in the universe. By teaching plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. By donating to us, you can help achieve this goal. keshefoundation.org/donate.
Plasma products found at keshefoundation.org/store. Soothing, reusable plasma eye and migraine mask. Eliminate eye fatigue and relieve stress in eye area. European certified medical device. Massaging plasma insoles. Bring comfort back to your feet and energize your legs. European CE certified medical device. Antiseptic plasma liquid hand soap. Promotes well-being and relaxation with protective plasma formula. CE certified. One Soul Plasma T-shirt. GAN's formula within the symbols and stripes brings mind, soul, and body into balance. European certified. Pain Relief Pen. Emits a concentrated plasma field at point of pain, efficient up to 3 centimeters below the skin. CE certified. The Magrav's Energizer and Alkalizer raises pH and energizes water through magnetic and gravitational fields. CE certified medical device. Pain Relief Pad, a result of years of research in nanoplasma technology with magnetic and gravitational fields. CE certified medical device. Visit the online store at keshefoundation.org/store or find a distributor near you. Tax and shipping not included.